Hi everyone, welcome to my channel or welcome back. So today I wanted to talk about Jupiter moving into the sign of Pisces on December 28th, 29th, depending on where you are on the planet, until December 20th of 2022. And he'll be taking a quick dip into Aries around May 10th of 2022 until October 27th, 2022. But this video obviously is about him moving into the sign of Pisces and what that means for us as a collective and us individually. So Jupiter takes approximately 12 years to go around the entire zodiac. He spends approximately 1 year in each sign. So to give you an example, the last time Jupiter was in Pisces was January of 2010 to December of 2010 and February 1998 to January 1999. And of course, you can keep going back and back and back every 12 years. So think about, these times in your life, similar themes could come up, not the exact same thing, could be, but definitely think back to these times in these periods of your life and see what was going on for you. Jupiter rules the 9th house of Sagittarius, and he's also the co-ruler of Pisces, which is the 12th house. So he shares this rulership with Neptune, and Neptune is currently transiting the late degrees of Pisces at this time. So our belief systems, higher education, long distance travel, luck, expansion, and growth is basically on the horizon, I would say, for all of us. So this is also happening in the 12th house of Pisces. So it's going to have a little bit of feel of dreams, illusions, intuition, secrets, the unseen world, and sprinkled with a little bit of magic, which I love. So to have both rulers of Pisces in 2022, I think this is going to be a wonderful, magical year, especially when Jupiter conjuncts Neptune 3 times over the next year. So the last couple of years with Jupiter going through the sign of Capricorn, that was in 2020, and then he transited Aquarius 2021. He's not had it easy because he had to share the spotlight with Pluto in Capricorn and also Saturn in Capricorn and in Aquarius. So now he can finally break free from those a little bit heavier, a little bit more intense energies, and he can finally express himself fully in the sign of Pisces. So as a collective, I think we will have a more positive outlook for the future, which I think we need right now. All of us need right now. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy year coming up in 2022. Even if we do have a little bit of a tough year externally, collectively we'll have a more positive outlook, which is good. There's also the possibility of wrapping up the old and dissolving the old and starting something fresh and new, especially when he takes that short dip into Aries. So I also think this is going to be collectively really nice, healing, hopeful energy sprinkled with a little bit of magic here and there. That's if you're open to it. I mean, if you're not open to signs and synchronicity, that's totally fine. This year, it's just that I feel like we will all have the opportunity to be a little bit more aware of that sort of energy and the nudges the universe is providing to us. The downfall of this energy, yes, I'm sorry to talk about this. Every sign, every planet has positive energies and a little bit of the darker energies. So we have to embrace both of them. So the downfall of this energy with Jupiter moving into Pisces, there might be a feeling of no boundaries. Like Jupiter has no boundaries, Pisces has no boundaries. we might get in over our heads in some situations, depending on how this is transiting in your chart. We might be too optimistic on certain things, just not being very grounded. Overindulgence also comes to mind. So overeating, over drinking, abusing drugs, gambling. Because this is taking place in Pisces, there could be illusions around this energy. So again, just be aware of this. Risk taking is definitely encouraged this year, but with careful, grounded planning, if that's possible. I think it's going to be hard for all of us to stay 100% grounded this year, but just if we're aware that this energy is coming up, we can at least be aware of it, like notice what you're noticing type of thing. So balance is key as much as possible. And think of it this way, Jupiter expands anything it touches, and that could be for good and that could be for bad. Again, it really depends on how this is aspecting in your chart. Also, when we work with Jupiter's energy, we are more likely to achieve our goals or at least get a little bit closer to them. I've read and heard that there's some people that feel like this transit is just, when you have a Jupiter transit, just divine luck and riches pour over you as you're sitting on the couch eating your potato chips. I mean, don't get me wrong, that could happen. You could go out and buy a lottery ticket and win the lottery this year. I don't know. That's a possibility. However, I feel this energy is not automatic. None of the planetary energies are automatic. Again, depending on how it plays out in your life, in your chart. I'm thinking if you don't act towards an opportunity or on something, nothing's going to happen. So it's when you have that growth mindset, when you're optimistic, when you're actively going after your goals and your desires, you are much more likely to make progress in your life because like attracts like. So if you have that positive mindset, you are more able to reach out and grab those opportunities or notice those opportunities that are going past you. And it's up to you whether you want to reach out and grab them or not. So anyway, that's just my opinion on this energy. Overall, Jupiter is, fantastic, optimistic, positive energy. If you have any personal planets in Pisces, Jupiter will be conjuncting them 1 to 3 times this year, and they will overall be infused with Jupiter's wonderful, joyful, optimistic, helpful, positive energy. If you have natal Jupiter in Pisces, you're experiencing your Jupiter return this year, which is super, super, super exciting. It only comes around once every 12 years. We all have a Jupiter return every 12 years. So this is a wonderful transit to set the stage for the next 12 years. And I do find with Jupiter returns, they can be quite magical and definitely nudge you in the right direction. So good news if you are having that Jupiter return. Okay, so I wanted to get through each of the signs to let you know where maybe you can see a boost in these energies showing up for you in at least one area of your life. Keep in mind, I'm using a whole house system. I use Western tropical astrology, so this is not going to resonate for everyone because everyone's natal charts are a little bit different, especially depending on the house system and where you were born on the planet. So I always say take what resonates and leave the rest. And I do recommend watching for your ascendant and your sun sign to pull this together for you. If you want to utilize your free birth chart, you can go to astro.com, punch in your information, and it will produce a birth chart for you, or you can type into any search engine, free birth chart calculations, and there's lots of websites out there that you can utilize for free birth chart calculations. So starting with Aries, this is happening in your 12th house of the unseen, healing, closures, karma. the subconscious, and secrets. So I actually love this aspect for you, because when it's in the 12th house, it's like having a guardian angel with you all year long. And if you have it natally in your 12th house, it's like having a guardian angel on your shoulder for life. It's really awesome, fantastic energy. So definitely Aries, watch out for the signs and symbols if you are open to that, especially when Jupiter moves into your sign in May. So take note of what is happening for you during this time. This could really be a snapshot of what's coming up for you in 2023. And that's really for all signs, but especially for you, Aries, because it's moving into your sign. So this is a little bit of a quieter transit for you. You will find that you are more, or it's more easier to be compassionate, sensitive, empathetic. I can already hear the Aries saying, I don't want none of that fluff. I want nothing to do with that. We all could use a little bit of this energy, Aries. So definitely not a bad transit. This is a really good year to do healing work, shadow work, just because you're able to tap into your subconscious mind a little bit easier. Charity work, volunteering work is highlighted, beneficial at this time. Your dreams could be really active and vivid and very intuitive at this time as well. So I do recommend you keep a dream journal if you're into that. Retreats are really beneficial for you at this time as well. And you also might be interested or drawn to the metaphysical or the dream world over the next year. So just be aware of these energies. And also, you could enter into a secret relationship at this time. So just be aware of this energy, or if you're watching for a spouse, just be aware that this is a possibility. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's just a possibility when really certain planets are transiting the 12th house. So Taurus, this is happening in your 11th house of friends, groups, community, hopes, wishes, and dreams. So Taurus, for you, this is a lucky house. So I'm going to say if you have the hunch to buy that raffle ticket or lottery ticket, I would say go ahead and do it. Just don't bet the farm, okay? Just, again, try to be grounded when it comes to gambling, for sure, this year. So Taurus, your friendship circle could expand this year. I would say don't be afraid to reach beyond your usual friendship circle. Benefits and gains could come through organizations, friendships, clubs that you belong to. You might also find that your friendship circles are a little bit more helpful during this time, which is fantastic. Networking is really favored for you this year, so I would say do your best to put yourself out there, especially if you're in the consulting business. Put yourself out there. It's a great transit to plant those seeds for your future long-term goals. I would also say careful what you wish for, because you might actually get it this year. Or maybe when Jupiter moves into your sign, which we're going to get a taste of that in 2023, and then he's going to move in there into your sign in 2024. So just keep that in mind. Your income is likely to increase at this time, whether you own a business or if you're on a career path. Only thing I would caution is be careful mixing money with friendships at this time. If you're able to and you don't care about the money, and you're in that financial situation where you don't really expect that return from your friends, then that's fine. I would say go ahead. But just be aware of this energy, and also be aware of get rich quick schemes. Just be mindful of anyone who's throwing something at you at this time that's a big investment. Read the fine print, or get somebody to read the fine print for you. Gemini, this is happening in your 10th house of career, reputation, public image, long-term goals. This is also parental access. So this is a very fortunate transit overall for your career. If you're retired and no longer working, that's okay too. This is about your hobbies then. Anything that you put out into the public eye, I would say. So public recognition is possible for you this year. A promotion is possible for you this year. I would say reach for those career goals this year for sure. Or try to make small steps towards them this year. This is not a year to contract into ourselves. This is a year to expand out and utilize those Jupiterian energies. So I would definitely suggest even taking those small steps towards change. It's a great year to look for another job. So if you're not happy in your job, fantastic year coming up for you to look for a new job. If you're in a current job that you enjoy, you could experience more joy and freedom in your career at this time. This is, I would say, really good energy to put yourself out there and starting a new business. This could indicate a marriage as well, or some sort of very important contractual agreement. Parental figures could help you out financially in some way this year. The only thing I caution for you, Gemini, is these energies. So Pisces squares Gemini. So the squaring energies could be difficult at first before a positive change comes about. I do think the benefits will outweigh the losses. So for example, if you lose your job this year, I'm not saying you're going to, this is just an example. So if you lose a job this year, or if you quit a job this year, a new opportunity should show up for you that's, better than what you expected. And especially when Jupiter moves into Aries, he is going to sextile then your energies in Gemini. So, or any planets that you have in Gemini. So again, it could be difficult at first, but then once that shift happens, I think you'll be like, wow, thank God this happened, or thank God I left my job, or thank God I did this. So just be aware of this energy. So Cancer, this is happening in your 9th house of higher education, teaching, long distance travel, ethics, beliefs, and meeting people from different cultural backgrounds. So Cancer, I would say you could be expanding your horizons this year. So you might have opportunities to travel, to study, or to, again, meet people from, I would say, different backgrounds from your own. So study and educational pursuits, I would say, will go very well for you this year, because your mind is open to learning something new. If you're looking to expand your business in foreign markets, I would say try that out this year, because again, being in the 9th house, you should be able to reach a bigger, wider audience. Even if you're not looking to go international, maybe look to your own country in expanding a little bit. And if you're an author, a blogger, again, now could be a time that you could reach a larger audience over the next year. If you're in the travel and tourism industry, again, if you're author, blogger, education, a teacher, very favorable year for you this year to expand in those areas, if you work in those areas. Legal matters are favored for you at this time. You are less prone to sweat the small stuff this year, Cancer, which is good news for you. Relationships with your in-laws could improve this year. Or they could benefit you in some way this year. Only thing I caution is the know-it-all mentality. Just be aware of that, especially if you're teaching something or putting something out there. It is okay to say you don't know. Just be mindful of what you put out there. Mind you, if you don't care and you're looking for that reaction from the public, then I would say, yep, You will probably get that attention this year for sure. And I would say be cautious on overspending when it comes to traveling and educational pursuits. So just be aware of that. Leo, this is happening in your 8th house of rebirth, sex, transformation, taxes, debts, loans, joint finances. So Leo, for you, this is also a lucky house. So again, as I mentioned to Taurus, if you have that inkling to buy that raffle ticket or that lottery ticket, I would say do it. Just don't bet everything off, Leo, please. I'm just saying the energy is there. I'm not saying it could happen because it really depends on how this is aspecting in your personal chart. You might see benefits or gains in areas of joint finances, shared resources. That loan from the bank could finally come through if you're looking to buy a home this year. This is really favorable energy for investments, intimacy, sexuality, healing, and psychological matters are really beneficial for you at this time. If your business or your job involves investigations, research, spirituality, anything to do with the mind or psychological therapy, I think you're going to make some great strides this year in your business, or you could get a lot of business coming your way this year. An insurance settlement could come your way this year. A larger than normal tax rebate could come to you this year, or some sort of inheritance could come to you this year. If you have a partner, they could get a financial boost this year, and then of course you'll benefit from that. Fantastic year for financial planning and strategy. A new home is possible for you this year, or a new vehicle purchase is possible for you this year. If you're single, I would say you're going to have quite a few sexual opportunities coming your way. I'm just going to put that out there. So if that's your thing, have fun. You're going to have a lot of fun this year. Or if your focus is on one partner or one partnership, this energy is definitely more expansive and intimate for you to build on your relationship, or build it back up, or improve it in some way. During this time, Leo, you might be less sensitive to power issues, power struggles in relationships, or sharing of your resources. Watch out for manipulation. I'm thinking it's more so going to be on the Leo side, like the Leo's manipulating others, but it could also be other people manipulating you this year, or taking advantage of you this year. So just be aware of this energy. It could be conscious or unconscious during this time. So again, just be mindful of it. And I would also caution, if you're getting into any joint financial agreements this year, just again, be aware of this energy. And I would also watch out for big spending this year too. So again, just be mindful of this energy. Virgo, this is happening in your 12th house of contracts, marriage, legal matters, business partnerships, basically relationships in general. So again, fantastic year for all sorts of partnerships. I think you might learn a lot about yourself through partnerships at this time. Gains or success are likely now through, I would say more so through new business partnerships, marriage, common law, negotiations, contracts. I mean, benefits could come through existing partnerships as well. But I'm thinking if you enter into new contracts or new negotiations, it could be even better, even greater gains in that aspect anyway. Sometimes this transit actually dissolves a relationship for the better. You might be relieved by this. You might know this is coming, and you might just be better off without some sort of relationship in your life. It could be due to meeting someone new that is just a better fit, whether it's a better business partner fit or a love relationship. This is a good year to wrap up legal matters. It looks like legal matters will be in potentially your favor this year. Or if they do come about, they'll be quickly de-escalated or they'll be quickly resolved. If you're in the consulting business, this looks like a really great year for you. Good publicity could come your way now. However, that could flip. So if you've been shady in business, I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying it's going to happen to you specifically, but if you've been unethical in anything, any sort of dealings or relationships, that could really come to light for you this year, and something could shift in that area. So Libra, this is happening in your 6th house of day-to-day work, your health, your fitness, your pets, your habits, the workplace, basically your day-to-day obligations and responsibilities. So I would say benefits, small benefits and gains in your day-to-day life at this time. Also with work, home, and your health. This transit enhances your abilities to take care of the nitty-gritty details, which I know some Libras don't exactly like. Any type of service work that you do this year, I would say it's going to go over very well. Your career, your job could improve this year in some way. New opportunities could present themselves to you this year as well. If you own a business and you're hiring anybody, fantastic time, fantastic year to find the right talent for your business. Rewards or recognition could come your way this year. It looks like a good health year for you overall. Procedures will likely go well. If you're on any sort of treatments, they will likely improve. Again, depending on your situation. This energy could bring a new pet into the home, which is really exciting. Only thing I caution Libra is just be careful of overeating this year or overextending yourself at work. Make sure you do still have balance in your life. Self-care is still important. And it is definitely enhanced and supported for you at this time. Scorpio, so this is happening in your 5th house of children, love affairs, creativity, self-expression, drama, fertility, and gambling. So Scorpio, this is for you also a lucky house. So like I mentioned to Taurus and Leo, if you have that hunch to buy a lotto ticket or a raffle ticket or something like that, I would say go ahead and do it. Just don't bet everything off. Don't go into debt just to gamble. That's not what this energy is saying at all. I'm just putting it out there. It's a possibility. So Scorpio, I feel like you're in for more of a fun, lighthearted year, which is fantastic. Creative or artistic projects or hobbies are really favored for you this year. You could discover hidden talents this year that you never knew you had. Love and romance may enter your life this year, or a current love partnership could really improve this year. Investments, stocks, it looks like a good year to dive into that if you're interested in that. Relationships with your children could really improve this year. Great time to start a family. Great time to start a family. Just keep in mind though, Scorpio, if you're not looking to start a family, just take those precautions as necessary. This is a great year, Scorpio, to take a vacation, whether with your partner, with a group of friends, with your family, especially if you have kids. Great year. Great year to do that. I would just caution again around gambling and overconfidence in financial investments. Yes, it's a good year for you to explore investments and explore that area, but maybe get some financial advice. before making big jumps or big leaps in that area of life. Overall, I would say healthy risk is likely to pay off for you this year. Balance is key, and I would say reading the fine print is key for you as well this year. Okay, Sagittarius. This is happening in your 4th house of family, home. This is also the parental access, property, the past, and self-care. So there could be benefits or changes to the home, to the family at this time. There might be property changes, maybe a shakeup or changes in the domestic living situation. And this is for the better. I mean, it might be challenging at first, but I would say overall this will be a change for the good. You'll have overall joy and happiness around the home over the next year. You'll want to stick around home a little bit more over the next year. You will have opportunity to buy or sell real estate. It is favored over the next year for you. Renovations are also favored over the next year. You could be expanding your family at this time, so you could be welcoming in a new baby, a new adoption at this time, or you could be taking in a relative to live with you for a short period of time. Relationships with parents or other family members are favored. So if you're having any sort of disagreements with any sort of family members at this time, they should get resolved, I would say, by the end of 2022, or a little bit just more easier to deal with, I guess. There could also be a family reunion for you this year, and an inheritance could come your way this year, or you could have a parent or a parental figure help you out this year financially in some way. The only thing is this energy is squaring your planets in Sagittarius. So energies could be difficult at first, which I mentioned before. You know, there could be some changes in your domestic situation. So could be difficult at first, but I think at the end of the day, once you step back and turn on your observer, you'll be like, you know what, blessing in disguise. Thank God this happened. Thank goodness, you know, this escalated this way because I took this opportunity, or I moved, or I renovated, or whatever the case may be for you. Once Jupiter moves into Aries in May to October, take note of this time, because again, this energy is going to trine your energy. So I think if there's going to be changes that are happening for you this year, Sagittarius, you might get a sneak peek of it over the, between May and October, basically. Capricorn, this is happening in your 3rd house of the mind, communications, transportation, siblings, neighbors, short distance travel. So transportation, education, study, communication opportunities might come up for you this year. You might upgrade your skills, your knowledge, your abilities to either take on a new job or just improve your current job at this time. Neighbors, siblings, or cousins could play a role in your life this year in a beneficial way. You're also able to articulate yourself very well this year, Capricorn, and you're well received, which is also nice. If you're in the teaching field, that looks beneficial for you this year. If you're a student, a blogger, an author, again, a good year for you as well. If you work in the communication sector, you're likely to encounter a boost or some sort of positive incoming news that affects you in some area of your life. You could step into a manager role this year or a leadership role this year. Opportunities to travel this year, short or long distance traveled, are favored. Buying a new vehicle is favored this year for you as well. I would say business overall looks good for you this year, Capricorn. Only thing I would caution is the know-it-all mentality. It is okay to say you don't know something. Just be mindful of what you put out there, especially put out to the public. And also just be cautious on overspending when it comes to travel, education, and if you're looking to purchase a new vehicle in the next year. Aquarius, this is happening in your second house of money, work, finances, income, your values, and your material possessions. So Aquarius, this is also a lucky house for you. So if you have that hunch to buy a raffle ticket, a lotto ticket, I would say go ahead and do it, but just don't bet everything off. Don't go into debt to gamble. That's not what this energy is saying. I would say, though, transiting your second house overall, I think it's going to be a profitable and productive year for you. This is a really good year to line those pockets of yours, Aquarius. Your confidence is going to be up. I feel like this is a good year for you to develop your skills, your talents, your abilities. Plant those financial seeds for the future. Investing looks good for you this year. If you had any financial problems in the past, I feel like they will clear up for you this year. Or it'll move in a good direction, a better direction this year for you. You might want to splurge on yourself this year, which I say go ahead and do it. But again, just if you're going into crazy debt to buy a new wardrobe, for example, just be aware of that. You might want to expand your home or any sort of personal possessions at this time. A major purchase or sale is possible for you this year, like a home or a massive renovation. A bonus, a promotion, a salary increase could come your way this year. Business overall, I think, will be good for you this year, Aquarius. I would just say be mindful of overspending, as you'll feel really, really good this year. I think all of us will. So just be mindful of that. Maybe manage or track your finances or get someone else to do that for you, just so you can kind of maybe even check in quarterly or something like that. And Pisces, this is happening in your first house of the physical appearance, the ego, the identity, the body, your attitude and your clothing and your style. So this is a very, very, very fortunate time for you. You should see noticeable positive improvements in your environment, and you're also going to carry a really nice self-confidence with you. You will likely be more optimistic this year, joyful, generous. You'll have the energy around you of looking forward towards the future with hope and faith and optimism. This is a really great period for self-improvement of any kind. If you deal with the public, things could really improve at this time. People could look to you for your leadership qualities. You're also able to overcome issues that were really difficult for you in the past. Only thing I caution with this energy with you, Pisces, is overeating, drinking, gambling, drugs. Try not to get too lost and wrapped up in things like that. Your carefree attitude could really lead to extreme behaviors or carelessness. So just be aware of that. Also watch the waistline. Sometimes when Jupiter transits our first house, we gain a little bit of weight. So again, just be mindful of this energy. Also be aware of your ego. You might get a little full of yourself over the next year. Again, which there's nothing wrong with having that self-esteem, self-confidence, but you know what I mean when you go a little bit too overboard, right? So that is that. I hope this helped for everybody. I am curious to hear how this is going to play out for you. over the next year. And keep in mind, these are just very general horoscopes, and I'm also trying to keep them short as possible, so I'm not going on and on and on. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy your Jupiter transit, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.